Hey yogis, I hope everyone's doing well on this lovely spring day. Welcome to Team Stretch, just a nice 15 to 20 minute break from your day. Work out all those kinks, all those frustrations of technology failing you. I have to say I did try to improve my audio quality with some wireless speakers. I've tried every kind of adapter, dongle possible, every forum, YouTube video. So I'm afraid those are going to have to go back. It'll be a little bit longer till we can up this production value. But until then, let's just remain authentic and go with what we've got, right? So with that being said, we are going to find our way to our mats. We do have lovely Pepper Jones here, just having a little scratch. You will want some kind of nice firm surface that you can sit on. We'll be primarily seated today. If you do not have a yoga mat, you're welcome to use any kind of blankets for cushion, props like pillows, towels, all of that can be great to make yourself a little bit more comfortable. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started at a nice crisscross applesauce. Maybe rock those sit bones side to side. You can always sit up onto the edge of a blanket just to kind of level that pelvis. We want nice and flat. And then spine is taut, low ribs in, heart lifted, shoulders down and back. You bring your hands to your knees. And let's let go of all that frustration, anything that has been happening up until this moment, by starting with 3 rounds of cleansing breath. So maybe go ahead and close your eyes, start to bring your attention inward. And we will breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's do that again. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, sigh it out. Last and final release, nice slow, low belly inhale all the way to the top of the throat. This time hold it for 3, 2, 1, let it go. Eyes can remain closed or soft. Just start to find some shoulder rolls. So moving in one direction, and then the other. Beautiful. Inhale, create a little bit of tension, shrug it up. Exhale, melt it away. All right, so we're going to start with lifting the arms up overhead. Stretch those arms to find length, almost like you were holding a beach ball overhead, and then engage the shoulder blades by letting them slide down the back. We're going to bring this right hand down to the ground and find a little side body opening. Breathing some space into that rib cage. Trying to keep both sit bones level on the ground as you do so. Maybe take your gaze up. Keep this hand lifted. We're going to take it back to the sky. And you're going to take that arm across the knee for a twist. So nice and tall. This hand's going to walk back behind you, light on your fingertips. Think of rotating from the rib cage. You have a little bit more space, maybe even start to look over your shoulder. And slowly release. We're going to keep that hand to the knee, find our side body stretch on the other side. So hand is lifted. This knee can kind of act as an anchor as you pull down. And then bow over. Big inhale in. Release that hand down. This arm is going to go across the chest for a figure 4. So we're doing a little bit of like seated choreography today. Try to relax that shoulder down. You gently pull that arm in towards the chest. Finding your steady breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just a few more rounds here, maybe closing the eyes. Beautiful. Exhale, release. You can bring your arms back to your knees, maybe shrug into the shoulders a little bit more. Take that in the other direction. Inhale, tension. Exhale, let it go. For the sake of balance in the hips, let's switch that crisscross applesauce into an easy seat. So I forgot to mention, if you find that your knees look more like this, that's okay. Maybe take blankets or pillows to prop underneath your knees. I happen to be just very mobile here, and that is strictly genetics. So while I do a lot of stretching, I've been sitting like this long before yoga. So reassert your seat as you need, the low belly in, again, heart lifted, shoulders lifted up, down and back. And then we'll find that series on the other side. So slowly start to walk that left hand out. Inhale, first find length, and then bow it open. Breathe the space in between each rib. So we're kind of clearing out this space, little spring cleaning, like opening the windows of your home and letting that fresh air in. Maybe take your gaze up. Inhale, lift. That arm is just going to go across to the knee, walking this hand back behind you for our twist. So first find length, then start to roll the heart open. This movement really comes from the thoracic spine or the rib cage. Each inhale can be stretching the crown of the head towards the sky. As you exhale, you can hold this space, or you can deepen. Maybe you start to look over your back shoulder. Inhale, slowly unwind, keeping hand to knee. We'll take this arm up to the sky and bow to the other side. It's really nice to get into these side bodies this time of year, clearing out kind of all this gunk. We've got all these lymph nodes right underneath the armpit. So keeping that circulation there will help your body just to naturally flush out any toxins, pollen, gunk. All right, we're gonna lift it back up, and then we're just gonna take that arm across the chest. Your nice little figure four shoulder stretch, finding ease in the upper body. Let that shoulder shrug down. Maybe close the eyes. Steady breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Your next inhale, allow the eyes to flutter open and release. Any kind of circular movement. Maybe you feel good. You're even just to get some kind of side twisting going on. All right, from here, we're going to extend the legs long and find seated staff pose. You may need to pull away some lusciousness. I've got plenty to spare. So you can find that nice rooting of the sit bones. If you find this really challenging for you, you can always take blocks to keep yourself upright. I'll turn to the side just so you can kind of see what we're going for. We don't want any rounding here in the low back, rather sitting straight up. Ribs are stapled down, and we're just keeping nice, active, engaged legs. So curl those toes back towards you. We're doing a lot here to engage the core. And I want you to think of the core not only as your abdominals, but also your side bodies, obliques, and those low back muscles. This is what helps support your trunk and protect your spine. Also can help to mitigate a bit of that damage we do in sitting in our desks or sinking into a squishy sofa. And we will take this into a forward fold. So inhale, arms up overhead. Now I want you to watch as I hinge forward, keeping that low back flat. And then you could find the roundness in the upper body. So you may not be able to stretch at your toes, that's totally fine. You can take some supports like pillows, blankets, and kind of rest over. Or if you want more of that engaged practice, use a strap or something to grab and pull your toes towards you. That'll give you a nice sensation of stretch for the toes, the feet, and really nice into the calves and hamstrings. Take about 3 deep breaths here, in through the nose, out through the nose. Now, if you are supported on the use of props, you can stay for a few moments, kind of make this more of a restorative pose. And what I mean by that is just allowing breath, time, and gravity to do the work. However, if you have your hands on your toes or you've got a strap pulling your toes towards you, find a little bit of play here. So I want you to float. What I mean by that is to flex the foot while pointing it. So you'll see what I do here. This is a regular point, right? This is a float. The toes are still curled towards me and I'm pressing forward. I'm going to use my hands as anchors to kind of press. You'll feel the stretch in the lats, maybe in the low back on that side. And then flex, release the stretch, and try the other side with your float. Just kind of going side to side. Maybe pausing for a moment if you feel tighter on one side than the other. And then we'll do both. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flex the feet back to you. Slowly, in whichever pose you chose, come back up to your seated staff pose. So active core. Inhale, arms up overhead. And then bring your hands behind your head. Press your head into your hands and open up those elbows, nice and flush against each other. Lots of engagement here. So now we're engaging the core and the upper back muscles. So we're straight like a plank. Use your thumbs to kind of lift the pressure off of the neck. Take those 8 pounds of weight of your skull, brain, and head. Just find a little bit of freedom. And relax, let it go. Just turn to the side so you can see me. We're going to keep our legs straight in that plank, or sorry, staff. Arms by the side. And just find a little neck stretch, rolling through center to the other. Like a little gentle pendulum swing from side to side. Make sure you find at least 2 little half rotations. And then next time your chin comes towards your chest, lift your gaze. All right, we're gonna bring those feet in, roll over the knees, and come up into high kneeling. How are you feeling? All right. So we got just about 1 more stretch to go. We are going to find a toe squat. Everybody loves a toe squat, she said sarcastically. Curling your toes, make sure to invite that pinky toe to the party. And you may want some kind of block, prop, or blanket to place underneath you. The more pressure and weight that you have on the back of your heels, the more stress you're going to feel, the more stretch you're going to get. So we're going to slowly sit the hips back onto the heels, just like before in your seated staff, nice tall spine. And see if you can settle the breath. So I promise I don't torture you for nothing. We've got all this fascia, the plantar fascia of the bottom of the foot. So by releasing that tension, we take tension off the calves, hamstrings, and subsequently the low back. And just to find a little bit of distraction, work a little bit more into the shoulders. So you can bring your hands by your side. You can either find the hands to the low back or clasp them and open up the heart. Lift your hands away from your purse. And I know it's really burning right now. Stay and breathe with it. You can get through this. You can conquer any email or anything that comes hereafter. So holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. You can roll off of those toes. Best part here is to uncurl. Whew. Give them a little pitter patter. Very confused by this now. We'll sit back onto the heels, hands behind you. So knees can be together or they can come a little bit wider. And we're just going to kind of open up from the back, shoulders. You're able to lift your knees slightly, might be easier with them together. Find a little counter stretch. Now this is really going to be limited just by the structure of your low bony ankles. So know that not everyone has the same flexibility. And again, purely genetic. Release. Off of that to the side. Bring the feet nice and wide. And let's just find some windshield wiper movement. If you found your heart rate going up or anything like that, you know, it's just a signal to your brain that you're doing something sort of strenuous or rather creating stress in the body. So let's just take this time to find an easy seat, close the eyes, come back to that center, that state of calm. A good way to find a release is through a cleansing breath. So again, we'll take a breath in and out through the mouth. One hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Bring your attention back inward. Feel the swell of the low belly as the diaphragm expands into your palm. And gently contracts as you draw back in. That newly created length in the side bodies, that freedom in the upper chest. Starting that breath low and slow from the diaphragm, feel the lower hand lift up to the chest, top palm lifts. And with each exhale, a sense of settling and ease, shoulders drop, jaw is loose. Unfurrow the brows and just be here for another moment. And release your hands to the lap, down to feel grounded, or up as a gesture to receive. And hands to heart center. Both the light and the dark that reside within me, honor and recognize that within each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis, for being here with me. I hope to have some improvements in the future, both with technology and with physiology. Thank you again, and have a great day.